Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bumper Sticker Wisdom. I'm Jason.
And I'm John.
Brother John's going to say a prayer, and we'll get started.
Yes, sir. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for us, everything that you do for us, everything that you're going to do for us, Father. We ask that, or no, actually, Father, we just say that we're going to commit ourselves to you. We're submitting the whole thing to you and just allow whatever it is that you want to come out of it, to come out of it. Our tongues are yours. Our hearts are yours. Our thoughts are yours. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Well, it was a
terrible week in the NFL for me.
I guess Bo Nix didn't have a good weekend.
No, my team sucks.
It's going to be a minute, brother.
I know. Gag me. Felt like I was watching Russell Wilson all over again. I'm just like, ugh.
Really? I didn't see any of it, but
he had like 134 yards. I mean, it
was a kind of a lackluster offensive weekend in NFL football,
except for the Saints.
I saw that too, and the Vikings.
Yeah.
I had a kicker that won me fantasy league. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like Chris Boswell for Pittsburgh hit 5 field goals, 3 of them from 50. You know what I mean? In our fantasy league that we just drafted with the rookie league, that's 15 points just for the 50-yarders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, dude, when kickers are scoring that many points, it's not a good offensive week for the NFL.
No.
But college football was funner.
Yeah. Yeah, our boys won.
Longhorns made a statement against Michigan.
Yeah.
Sir.
That was more than a statement.
That was a good old
Nebraska made a statement too.
That's the difference.
Their quarterback. Have you seen what they're calling him?
Daniel Raiola.
Yeah, Patrick Mapartments. Because he's so big. Like he looks like Mahomes. He does the same kind of pregame as Mahomes. But
his dad was an NFL offensive lineman. Dominic Raiola. Yeah, he played for the Lions. He was a really good offensive lineman. Not a Hall of Famer, but
yeah.
And his godfather is Matt Stafford. Yeah, I looked this up after I was like, who is this kid? Daniel Raiola or Dylan Raiola, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're calling him Patrick Mapartments.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, and that just goes to show you the difference between the hype and actually building a squad. You know what I mean? Colorado, I don't have any disrespect towards Deion Sanders and what he's doing. It is what it is. You know what I mean? He's doing what he does. You know
his kid is the highest paid college athlete.
I wonder why.
But it's crazy, though.
Who's marketing him?
I mean, but it's crazy.
It's Coach Prime, baby. I'm just saying. Coach Prime is printing money for them.
Yeah.
For all them players. You know what I'm saying? And for Colorado.
But if they don't have,
it won't last long.
If they don't get their season together early and really start, because last year they come out and they were making a splash quick.
Yeah. You're not supposed to go down. You're not supposed to go to Nebraska and lose 28-0.
No.
I think they scored points eventually, but it was 28-0.
Yeah. Yeah, and then who was it beat up on Notre Dame?
Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's Tony Romo department over there, I think.
Yeah. That's funny.
That is funny. Dude, that is barely a D1 school. That is barely a D1 school. I mean, they're almost WT, you know what I'm saying? And they go at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It's not like they were even in a neutral site. They were at Notre Dame and beat the number 5 Irish.
Yeah, and then
wow.
Florida State. And,
Boston College.
But even more importantly than that, who was it that
Georgia Tech.
They
lost to Georgia Tech week 1. Georgia Tech lost to Syracuse.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, Syracuse lost. Come on. So is Florida State that terrible?
They're rough. Now they lost their running back for the year. I saw a report earlier. Their running back is out for the year too. They're not gonna. It's not getting any better for Florida State going forward, man.
No.
Rough run coming for them. But this is why I love about football and college sports. You know, I'm never going to – I don't jump on the Cowboys hype train ever. I don't do it because every year since I was – you know, after the 90s run, which I was a fan then, we knew they were going to be bad for a while. I mean, come on, man. It was rough there for a while, you know what I mean? And then when Bill Parcells got hired on and, you know, some of the teams they started to build then, it was like every year, oh, yep, this is the Cowboys' year. Even the experts were saying it. And it's like, I just look and see what I see, you know what I mean? They have the potential to be very good.
Yeah.
Will they put it together? Good question. We'll see.
Well, then I saw, oh, God, I can't remember. It's on the radio. They were saying that now the Cowboys aren't the most hated team in America. It's the Chiefs.
That's true, man. I mean, that's true. It's like the Patriots there for a while.
Yeah.
Everybody hated the Patriots.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't stop winning.
Yeah.
It's like, get out of the way. It's like Alabama. You know,
Yeah,
I can't
Alabama gained some haters.
Look, I can't say I'm not
Miami
part of that.
did too there for a little while.
Yeah, back in the 80s, you know,
Yeah.
and then in the 90s, they had another run in the 90s. I can't say that I didn't jump on that Alabama hate train. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that I didn't. I can't. Why? Because I'm not a fan of Alabama. Never have been.
Yeah.
Right. I can't be on the SEC hate train anymore because my Longhorns are in the SEC.
Yeah.
But I used to hate the SEC and hate on the SEC and talk trash on the SEC. Why? Because they're top heavy, and I didn't think
so lopsided too.
I never thought that conference was as tough as everybody said it was. You know what I mean? I never thought the Big 12 got enough credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they scored a lot of points, and everybody's like, well, they don't play defense in that league. No, the offenses are really just that good because they can go put up points against those defensive teams in the SEC. They proved it over and over again. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I'm getting hot.
About 5 weeks till we play Georgia. 5 or 6 weeks.
We play Oklahoma first.
Yeah.
Let's play Oklahoma first.
Then Georgia.
That's going to be 2 fun weekends, man.
Yeah.
Scary for, you know, I'm not scared of any team. That's going to be a challenge.
OU's just OU though. That's
the only problem.
A rivalry game, and that's a tough one to.
I will say that the same can be said about Arkansas and A&M because those are old rivals, man. Yeah. And Arkansas wants to play Texas like it's their Super Bowl. Yeah. A&M's going to do the same thing. So those are going to be tough games, especially when you're playing in Kyle Fieldhouse for A&M, last game of the season.
We used to be conference rivals. I mean, we used to play. Yeah, we were Big 12 rivals. I mean,
it's old. And Arkansas and A&M was in the Southwest Conference back in the day before the Big 12.
Yeah,
you know, and they were in the same conference. So, this is a fun time of year, man. I'm excited for it.
It'll be real fun if I please just clean up some of that fantasy money.
We had our fantasy draft for our rookie league where we're the mentors. We talked about this a little bit last week with Hannah because she's one of the players in the league. That was an absolute train wreck. It wasn't as bad as in the aftermath. Looking back on it, it wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was in the moment. But
my table with my teams was like really loud.
It made it difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, you had the ringleader over here. That was
not just you. It was not just you. My daughter was one of the ringleaders too. and really, it was just like I knew it was going to be difficult because nobody knew what they were doing. But you know, at the end of it, once we got through it, actually came out pretty good. Honestly, it didn't take that long. Could have been faster. Or better, a little cleaner. I did some things wrong. I didn't have things set up right where it was easy to keep track of stuff, and that kind of caused some problems because my dad being one of the mentors and he's over here trying to write down all the draft picks and stuff, and that was a bad idea right from the start.
Well, once I saw that going on, that's why I told my players to write down their picks.
Yeah.
I was even having to write down Casey and Renee's.
That's whose handwriting I was looking at.
Yeah. I had to write theirs down because they were both like, I kept looking over there and they weren't even writing. So I was like, give me that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Fine, I'll do it.
Yeah. One person trying to write them down like that's just ridiculous. Plus, I was trying to keep track of the players coming off the board.
Yeah. So some of that was my fault. Obviously, I didn't set that up properly. It's the first time I'd ever really done one like that and hosted it. So I know where I went wrong. You can say we could do it better if we'd use the app. Maybe yes.
It wouldn't been. It was actually. I had a good time.
I enjoyed
it. Was really
it.
fun.
Yeah, I did. I was going to text everybody the next day and say, I've been a part of a lot of drafts and a lot of had a lot of different experiences, but I have never experienced one like that because I really hadn't.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and I think as long as everybody stays engaged with it, which is partly the mentor's responsibility because we have a little side bet going.
Yeah, and I text all my players last night and told them make sure that they set their lineups before Thursday.
I was going to send a text to the whole league tomorrow just to remind everybody your lineups need to be set by Thursday before kickoff of that game.
Yeah.
And then if anybody needs any help, to reach out to mentors.
Yeah.
Or if they can't reach.
Casey already told me she immediately responded with, I need help.
Of course you do. Which is fine.
Like, okay, I got you.
It'll take you 10 minutes, man. Push start on that guy. Okay, push start on that guy. Okay.
I did walk my wife through how to set up her alignment because she was sitting right beside me. I didn't set her lineup.
Yep, I did the same for Terry.
I was just like, hey, look, click right here, select your quarterback.
Yep.
Click right here, select your running back.
Yep. I did the same.
And she was like, okay. So walked her through that, and that was it because
it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be a shit show.
So for all those out there who are listening, the side bet is each mentor pitched in $50. The mentor who has the team who wins the championship gets to take that money and take their 3 teams and themselves to dinner.
Yeah,
that's
beers or whatever. It's $200 to go do whatever you want with your squad though.
It has to be
the mentor can't be like, I'm taking my old lady out and having some beers. No, it's to take the squad.
I got to do that anyway. So what's the point?
Yeah. You're kind of
so. Anyway, but yeah, I love. We actually have more sports to talk about now. That's exciting. Yeah, it's been a while.
So what did you have anything been weighing on your mind? Anything,
man? There's
creeping in. I know we always do, but
I've had a lot of connections to things recently, and I found it interesting that because something that was really I wouldn't say weighing on me, but something that kind of came over and up to me Saturday while we're mowing. Terry and I are mowing. I'm just in my headphones. This is like my quiet time when I'm mowing or whenever I'm at the gym because I'm by myself. I don't talk to people. I got my hood on. I got my headphones in. I'm talking to God. Regardless of what I'm listening to, I'm talking to God, just trying to hear what he has to say to me. And Saturday he was loud. And he was talking to me about prosperity. And this message was delivered to somebody else because I felt like it was for them directly. But the more I think about it, the more I think it's kind of for all of us, especially after the service Sunday.
Yeah.
Right? Which was all about our ability to generate wealth, which comes from God, right? And I can connect all these dots, but the biggest thing to me is I think we're all meant to be prosperous. I think we're all favored, right? I think that's God's plan. His plan is to prosper and not harm you, right? Plans for hope and a future, right? We are favored.
And you know why we don't?
That's our fault.
That we get in our own way.
That's 100% of the truth.
And we try to take credit from him and say, oh, look what I've done, or look what I can do.
Right.
No, it's not you, fool.
Exactly. And that's what the service was about Sunday, really. Everybody wants to lean on, well, they're just trying to get money out of us. Well, no, I don't. Yes and no. I mean, I don't think they're trying to get money out of you. They're just trying to get you to be obedient.
Well, and what a lot of people forget is just like this, churches don't get money.
No.
They don't get paid for a service. Like,
dude,
it's tithing. It's givers. That's how they. Without that, look at all the ministry work that our church does.
Yep. Let me tell you something.
Look at all the things that they do for people. None of that would be happening if people didn't give.
The people who run this city, and the people that do all these things, like the city planner, who I want to murder. Which, I probably shouldn't put that out there, but
yeah, probably ought to crawfish on that one a little there, but
I'm not going to do it. But this guy's or whoever, I just don't agree with the decisions they're making on the plans on our roads. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's making this is not a massive city. Traffic should never be like it is.
Yeah, 37 minutes to get here today.
Exactly, bro. It's a 15-minute drive when everything's running.
37
right?
minutes.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter where you go, which direction you take away from it, trying to go around it, you can't avoid the trouble.
No, especially coming from the side of town where me and you both work.
Exactly.
There's a lot of businesses out there, and those businesses are all getting out about the same time.
Yep.
And no matter which way you leave from there to come to this side of town, you have to go down one of the major thoroughways.
Yep.
And every one of them are under construction.
Yep.
Every one of them are under construction.
And it gets backed up like grandpa's arteries.
From 26th and I-27, I went under I-27 at 26th, and I went through that neighborhood.
Yep.
The Amarillo College area.
I did that yesterday.
All the way till I got to Washington, then I popped out and took off because the freaking traffic at the light at I-27 and 34th was backed up damn near to 27th. And I was like, I ain't waiting right there. It's already freaking 30 minutes.
Awful. You know how much money the federal government gives to cities for these projects?
Oh, yeah.
The same cannot be said for your church.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
No.
Right? Now, they get tax breaks. Yep, probably right. I don't understand all that. I can't speak to all of that.
Tax breaks don't do anything when you still have to pay bills.
How do the lights stay on?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You know how much my electric bill is?
Tax break don't pay their electric bill.
No, I mean, my electric bill is like $450, right, to keep a 3-bedroom house cool in the summer, right? Yeah. Well, I'm hot, so I like it cool.
Yeah.
So some of that's my own fault. Don't get me wrong.
I stay 68.
Oof.
I keep mine 68.
I need some help then. You need to come and help me in this house.
Mine stays 68. Our electric bill is like $270.
So I need some help then because I seriously, I just paid $450. Now you think about the size of the church that we are in, which is probably
there's 4 units just to cool the congregation area.
Yeah, just the main sanctuary.
Just the main sanctuary. That's 4 units.
Yeah. Then you got like 5 offices, and you've got all the children's areas.
Yeah.
That's
and
how
then
many
you
square
got
feet do you think?
And then you got the lobby.
You think that's about 10,000 square feet or 15,000?
But it's probably somewhere around in there.
That's.
I bet
that electric bill's ridiculous.
I bet the. Yeah, I mean, you got to think 10,000 is only 100 by 100.
That's fair. This house. The reason I said that is this house is it was right at 2,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The footprint is right at 2,000. 5 of these inside that place, somewhere in there. I was 10 to 15,000 is kind of where my head was at, and I'm just kind of visually estimating. Think about how much that costs to cool, and then the lights, and then the plumbing, and whenever some jackwagon gets drunk and drives through the freaking wall, which happened last year. You know what I mean? Yeah, that happened last year.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm sure insurance helped cover some of that. Don't get me wrong, but
but then you also got to think. Look at all there's grass everywhere around that place. Green, beautiful grass, too. Not like buffalo grass that grows out wild in the pasture. No, nothing like that. It's like fescue, like pretty grass.
Yeah.
I mean, they water, they manicure, they take care. I mean, it's a beautiful building to pull up to. I mean, it's very well taken care of. That's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't make enough money to pay for that, to operate that. Even if that was all the bills I had was to operate that place, I couldn't do it.
I guarantee. I don't think you and me could do it.
I guarantee.
We could get close, but we ain't going to do it.
No.
And then you got to think about the staff. Yeah. People that actually work there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this is where it gets tricky, though. How much money does the pastor make? Quite honestly, it's none of your damn business.
You know, okay, so I have a.
That's not where I wanted this conversation to go. But
I have a, and I think if you hear me out, I think you'll appreciate the way that I view it. When you look at the life that your lead pastor has to live. There is zero error. Like there's zero room for any kind of error.
Yeah.
As far as mentally, as far as physical appearance, as far as spiritual appearance, I mean, as anything, he has zero wiggle room for error. And I'm just saying, I'm just reiterating kind of our church. I'm not saying this is how it is. I'm just saying, like, as a reference point. He gives his life to help others.
Everything he does.
Everything he does is to help others. It's to help you get to know Christ. It's to help you if you are struggling with getting to know Christ. It's to help you if your marriage is struggling.
Yep.
They do women's events like they did last night. They do small groups. They do all these things. They're his whole, and I'm not just him, him and his family, because it affects the whole household.
Yep.
They spend every waking minute of every day of their life being there and helping.
Yep.
If you question what he makes, you try dedicating your life to being there and helping everybody but yourself. See how you feel.
Yeah.
You know
Why
what
do
I'm
you
saying?
think so many of them fail?
Why? So while people are trying to beat him up over how much does a pastor make, walk in his shoes for a year.
Yep.
And see if you can do that before you judge what they make or what they don't make.
Yeah. What I see, and I just
and he brought up a very interesting point just Sunday. Yeah, he probably would be a little more wealthy.
Yeah.
But he chose to go with God's calling.
Yep. Here's the thing that I recognized, and I was talking through this, and I got to get back to my original point, which is this is fine, but I want to get back to that original point. I think it'll lead back that way. It always does. Regardless of how much they make, what happens is you see people in the congregation roll up and they see the pastor roll up in like a Lincoln, you know what I mean, in a really nice car, and they see their house. It's a really nice house, and you know what I'm saying? And they get jealous, first of all. And then they assume that all of the money that they earn comes from being the pastor of the church without recognizing that they're smart with their money.
Yeah.
And they invest their money, and they actually put their money into the kingdom of heaven, into their church.
Yeah, and blessings overflow.
Right. They not only give money to their church, but they actually have a portfolio, guys. Yeah. They know how to save money, and they get by on nothing. Can you imagine where they started?
Oh, yeah.
Because they've been in ministry based off of I don't know quite how old they are, but I'm going to say 40 years.
Yeah.
And I know that they didn't start out that way.
Yeah. Patience.
And being
that is the
obedient.
True definition. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That is the true definition of doing God's work. The patience that you have to struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle and then catch a little break and then struggle.
Yeah.
And then struggle.
Yeah.
And then maybe catch another break and then struggle.
You want to talk about do it? You want to talk about
do it for that many years and then finally
breakthrough. Yeah.
Of course they're good with their money. They had to be.
Yeah. You want to talk about doing God's will willingly.
Yes.
Like we talk about it like we're sacrificing to do that.
Yeah, we talk about it like we've already been. We're doing God's will willingly. Yeah, for about 8 months you have been. Try 40 freaking years, you freaking jackwagon. You know what I mean?
So back to the kind of the original part of the conversation. That's all we're really talking about right now is financial.
Yeah.
Right. Which is definitely a part of the conversation, right? Finances and being obedient to what God is asking us to do. And I think that it's individual. You know what I mean? Like, I'm real cautious. Don't get me wrong. I believe that God's word is truth, right? I believe that what is in there is the truth. And I think that the principle of the tithe is something that we should abide by.
Yeah.
Okay? Can I tell you the truth? I don't.
Yeah.
Until this coming 15th. We made the decision that we were going to do that.
Yeah.
Because we felt like it was time, right? I've done it for the wrong reasons before. I've tried it, and it failed. It's because I was looking for a reward, right? And instead of, because look, I think that God brings back blessing to you, right? And like what he gets out of you, he'll bring back to you even more, and that so that you'll give more and do more. Kind of, that's exactly what.
It's the whole purpose.
That's exactly what the pastor was talking about. And so, for me, the reason I decided to, and again, I'm still going away from the original point, for us, for Terry and I feel like God is like kind of standing at the door ready to do these things for us. Like, not for us, but yes, for us, but not, that's not what I'm saying. It's kind of like, it's like we're on the cusp of something different happening. You know what I'm saying? And because of, I am that guy. I'm that closed fist guy.
Yeah.
Money is a problem for me in this walk because I'm so tight, not tight with it, bro. I'm not tight with it. I'm stupid with money sometimes, but it's just like, I want to be in control. You see what I'm saying? That's so in a lot of ways, that is something that sits on my throne over Jesus.
Well, and not to justify it, but for people that typically grew up in a household like we did,
sure,
where money really wasn't ever around, it's kind of hard not to want to latch onto it. And I mean, when you finally do start to make a comfortable wage, all you think about is the hard time. That's all I think about is the hard times.
I think about what happens when I don't have that.
Yeah, it's like the stress, and that's no way to live.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been successful for long enough now that I should never even dwell on where I was as a child.
Yeah.
But it's still,
it's hard not to.
Yeah, it's still hard to.
Those are scars that are way grained in there. Like they're dug in. Like not having money.
My house didn't even have sheet. And when I first started in high school, my house didn't have, I didn't have sheetrock on the walls in my bedroom.
Yeah.
I slept in a recliner.
Yeah. I remember us talking about some of this. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not that, look, I didn't know any different.
Right.
I really didn't. I had no idea. I knew no different. I knew that my mom was working 2 jobs and her husband was doing the exact opposite. You know what I mean?
Right. Not doing what we would do.
Not doing anything, you know, and
yeah.
What little bit he was working, he was partying it away.
Yeah.
And I mean, so look back at it now, it's like, oh.
Yeah. Oh,
but that's here nor there. That was a totally irrelevant point.
Not really. I mean, it actually it's 100% part of the conversation because it just goes back to what we talked about with that Theo Vaughn thing, man. You keep carrying bricks from your past into your present, you're just going to keep building the same house.
Yeah.
Right? This is part of where I'm at now. And this is Terry. And look, I love her so much because she's 100% with me no matter what I say. She's like, yep, let's go. Sometimes I'm like, wait a minute. I really need you to think about it. Yeah. I really need you to pray about it.
Come up with your own opinion.
I need you to tell me what you truly think. And we talked long about it and we prayed about it. And it's like not like this is just from yesterday's service, okay? This has been a conversation for a while. We've been talking about this. And that's, or not yesterday, Sunday. The reason I bring that up, though, is we finally decided that, okay, I think that it's time to we've been hearing the call for a long time and we've refused, which is what I truly think blasphemy of the Holy Spirit is to not answer the call.
Yeah.
And this is a part of our story that we haven't. It's part of that chiseling process and that molding process and
the
that becoming
uncomfortable process.
Yeah. And I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to, here you go, to God. And then at the same time, believe that and be expectant that he's going to do exactly what he said he will do. But that's not why I'm doing it. Right. Yeah. That was the failure I had originally. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to kind of talk about what we're doing right now. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sunday we did like
Right,
an
we're not on
illustration.
video.
Yeah, everybody's probably like, what are these guys talking about? Because me and you are making the hand gestures and the visual movements that me and you can see, but they don't know this.
Right.
They did an illustration. A young lady come up on stage. He handed her a dime, told her to close her hand and turn it over and hold on to that dime. While he reached in his pocket, grabbed a handful of dimes, and dropped them on the back of her hand. And you can't catch any that way.
Right.
Because they're just bouncing off, going everywhere. That's the closed-fisted mentality that we're talking about.
I'm going to hang on to that.
I'm going to hang on to that one dime while you got all these other dimes just bouncing around that you could be catching if you held your hand open to give, and you can receive that way.
Exactly.
You can't receive with your hand closed-fisted.
Right.
That's kind of what we're demonstrating right now that nobody can see because we don't have no visual feed.
This is exactly why we were talking about in our bumper sticker, or not our bumper sticker, our Bible roulette. Like, hey,
we would
buy
like
the
to
stickers and stuff
we would like to
because
do some video.
we'd like to do some videos so you can see what we're doing. But I have been close-fisted with my money, and I've tried to not be. And I think that in a lot of ways I'm generous, right? I am generous, even with my money.
Just not in the right places.
Just not in the right places.
I'm the same way.
Right. So
I'm the same way.
There's been this dialogue between us for a while that we should, and then it's kind of like, I don't think we're quite in that position yet, right? You know what I mean? What happens when we do that? You know what I mean?
So here's the thing. The way that we're truly designed, and the way that that God's plan, I believe, I'm not going to say this is the way that God's design is, because I don't know God's design. I don't deserve to know.
His ways are not our ways.
But the way that I feel that his design is for this is, okay, you take your earnings, you take your 10%, you plan on that going to the church or to ministry.
Yeah.
What you have left is what you live on. We have it backwards. We put our money on what we're going to live on.
Yep.
Then we sit and look, well, I got an extra $50 this week I can give to the church.
100%.
And that's taking
100%.
the wrong approach.
Yes. And look, I think the idea of,
which, of course, for some of us, it's too late because we have mortgages. Then that's a 30-year note or however long you have left. Like, you're tied to that now.
You get your financial stuff in such a way that we live off of what we make rather than planning ahead and being like, okay, this is this is going to happen, and then we have to live off the rest instead of we want to live off the 100%, right? And you'll hear it all the time. If you're around enough people, look, when you start doing the numbers about what a tenth looks like, it gets a little scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For anybody. And you start thinking about rent, house payment, water. We talked about the electric bill earlier. You know, I don't know what 10% is for some people. It may be low by comparison or higher by comparison, but the truth is I don't care who you are. 10% of your income.
10%, that would be about $800 a month. Then you start.
You're talking about for you?
Yeah, I'm saying that's a pretty rough estimate.
For me and Terry, it's roughly the same.
That's
both my car payments.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's scary. It is.
That's it's a lot.
It is a lot.
But if you sit and you think like, okay, I need, if I did this the other way, if my income was solely set up, okay, take that out right off the top. Then I have
give God my first and best. Yep.
Then I have what's left to live off of.
Yep.
We wouldn't be in the kind of debt situation that we're in.
That's right.
But automatically, the first thing you said, that's both of my car payments. The first thing that come to mind for me was that's about 3/4 of my house payment. I mean, where was that? And that would be a great thing to give to Christ.
Yeah.
Not one time did that pop up in my head. I'm just sitting there thinking, dang, man, that's a lot of money. That's 3/4 of my house payment.
Yep.
That's the mentality.
Yep.
That's the broken mentality that I think he's trying to fix.
Exactly. That's exactly what I think too. I think God's trying to work that out in me, right? And he's been doing it for a while. And again, I've done it for the wrong reasons, like that whole Malachi 3:10 thing. Bring back the tithe to the storehouse to see if I don't open up the gates of heaven and pour out a blessing on you so big you can't even contain it. And I'm like, yeah, I want that. Here's my 10% with my closed fist.
Yeah.
Because I'm not truly giving it to you. I want my blessing.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's the wrong mentality.
That's basically doing it with both hands. Here's my 10%.
Oh yeah, exactly. One fist
closed, one hand open. Here it is.
Yep.
Take it.
But give me back.
Yeah, take it. Where's mine?
Yeah.
I'll
give you yours if you'll give me mine.
Take it. Where's mine? And
exactly, and that's why I don't want to be anymore, right? And I think that God's been working that out for a while. And so we've made that decision. And I think, again, it doesn't have to do with, it's interesting that that's what was talked about on Sunday after what happened to me on Saturday and this prosperity thing and favor thing, because I think our instant thought process goes to the financial side of things, right? Forgetting that this is exactly what I told the person that I told you it was for. God told an old man who couldn't have children because his wife couldn't have children, that your descendants will outnumber the stars. That's prosperity.
Yeah.
Christ said that when a seed lands on good soil, what comes out will be 100 times what was put in the ground. That's prosperity.
Yeah.
So every seed we plant is the opportunity to be prosperous.
But you have to trust the process. Like, you have to put the trust there.
100%.
And I guarantee you, that's my problem. It's not that I don't trust. Believe me, I trust God. I trust him.
Yeah, I get it.
But I'm like, hey, is he is he noticing what I need right now?
Do you see me?
No, not like, hey, give me some, do you see me? Like, it's time for my blessing. No, not that. But like, when I'm struggling and I'm really trying to put my trust in him, but I know I'm this close to something bad happening to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is he gonna notice? Like, am I by myself right now? Is he busy working on someone else? I mean, I know it's the wrong kind of mentality, but that's kind of what happens. And then I'm like, man, I can't burden him with this. Like, he's got more to deal with. Whatever, I got this. And then it always unfolds dramatically. Like,
well, I didn't have that,
dummy.
Let me tell you something. You're never too busy. God's never too busy for you.
I know, but you it's not like I think he's busy, but man, when you like truly think about it,
is this that big a deal?
Is this that big of a problem? I mean, is it a problem? Because you know how it is. Like, sometimes for us, the small things are the biggest problems, and sometimes the biggest problems are the small things.
Yeah.
Is it that way for him? Like, that's my only question. Like, if this is this huge problem for me, or I feel like it is, and it's not that big of a deal for him,
I get where you're at, but I also think that we gotta credit our God for knowing us, right, and loving us just as we are, right? Sometimes I think that, hey, Jesus was human too. You know what I'm saying? He gave up his godship to be human so that he could come down and, one, teach us and give us hope, and two, pay the price.
Yeah.
Right? That was his whole point. His whole purpose was to pay the price. And he knew it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he faced everything that we had. We didn't have the benefit of being half God. You know what I'm saying?
At any point in time, he could have just said, no.
That's enough of that.
That's enough.
He could have. But what carried him to the cross, man? Love.
Yeah.
His love for you. God's love for you. Because that's the part that Look, we've talked about the scourge and what happened to him before he got to the cross. He should have been dead, but he wasn't. He made it there.
Yeah.
Because he had to.
Carried his own cross.
Carried his own cross. He dropped it a couple times, actually. And somebody else carried it for him for a little while. You ever heard that story?
No, I just knew that they made him carry his own cross.
He did. You want to talk about a story that proves that community is part of it, and that whenever our cross gets too heavy to carry, there's somebody there to help. Right? That's part of what God does.
Let's see. I want to see this. So this is like a
Simon of Cyrene. Let's see. Luke. You like Luke?
Yep. This
is in chapter 23 of Luke. Sorry, I got so silent there. Get down here a little bit. This is, they're getting ready to tell Pilate to crucify Jesus. You can see there in 20 and 21 the Pilate's given them the opportunity to free Jesus, who was an innocent man, and he knew it, but they didn't want to do it. Instantly demanded that he be crucified, blah, blah, blah. As a show.
So I found him I'll go up just one more.
Uh-huh.
What crime has this man committed? I have found him in no grounds for the death penalty. Therefore, I will have him punished and then release him. But the loud shouts, they insistently demanded that he be crucified, and their shouts prevailed. Jeez.
So Pilate granted their demand. He released the man who had been thrown into prison. That's Barabbas.
Yeah.
For insurrection and murder, the one asked for, and surrendered Jesus to their will. Right? As the soldiers led him away, they seized Simon of Cyrene, who was on his way from the country, and put the cross on him and made him carry it behind Jesus. This man carried the cross for Jesus, right? There is another part of this, another version of that, where he actually carried the cross multiple times and dropped it a couple times, and they grabbed Simon and made him carry it.
Wow, there's some really crazy pictures there too.
Yeah. Old artwork. At that point,
he was like, dude, they had already beat the
they had already beat the hell out of him. Yeah, he's already been beaten. And then Simon carried it all the way up.
Do you think that immediately following his death on the cross, they were like, what have we done?
Yes, because it even describes it in the Bible. In I don't know if it's in every one of the four Gospels, but multiple times when it talks about the veil being torn, it talks about when he breathed his last, the earth shook, and the veil was torn, and the sky got dark all of a sudden, almost like an eclipse happened at the exact moment.
Yeah,
and it said that the Roman soldiers looked at each other like, who was this dude? Who was this dude? You know what I mean? It kind of goes back to that, while we were yet sinners. You know what I mean? That's what he paid the price for. Anyway, the whole point of the prosperity, what I was trying to get at is, I think that prosperity is a lot more than just our financial stuff. I think finances are part of it, especially... I think some of this is very individual because our relationship is individual as well as communal. But the fact that Jesus had help carrying his cross, why the hell do we put ourselves through so much?
Yeah.
Thinking that we have to carry that cross by ourselves.
Yeah.
It goes back to our original mission of trying to help each other and teach men that we got to have people to bounce our shit off of.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, 100%. The problem is not that we don't have people. Most of us have people that we can take our baggage and our problems to.
We just don't do it.
No, we've been groomed not to.
That's fair.
Every man has been groomed. Suck it up, dude. Be a man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or if something tragic happens to you, man, shut up. Take it like a man.
Yeah.
That's the basis I'm on.
That is the most awful approach. And look, I get it. I've dealt with this. I have the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think there is a level of toughness in men that has to be there. You know
yeah, because if you take masculinity out of the equation of what it's like to be a man, you don't have a man.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have you have a shell, but you don't have a man. Men are not born to be the emotional leaders of the household. We're the strong ones. We're the ones that are supposed to be the providers, the protectors. You don't do that by being the emotional support system. You do that by being the brawn, the brute, the force.
Yeah. There's things to be said for both. You know,
Well,
have some skills in both. Anyway.
Yeah.
There are going to be times when it's like, okay, I've done all I can do for you. You need to seek better counsel because I'm not that counsel.
Yeah.
You know,
but that's why I think it's so important that men have their woman, not women, woman.
Woman.
Their singular woman.
Goodness gracious.
When you have that, okay, look, now you do have your emotional guidance in the household in the form of your wife.
Yep.
You can carry out the role that you were meant to carry out and still have that emotional guidance where she comes in and it's like, hey, how are you? You know what I mean?
Well, and we need to have the woman that's going to support and also help us in our emotional situations.
Yeah.
Like somebody that we feel safe enough with to go, okay, I need to be vulnerable with you right now and not get made to feel like a
sissy.
Ooh, I wanted to use the other word.
That's why I said it. Let's keep that one muffled. We'll keep that holstered, okay, buddy? We'll let that go when we quit recording.
I did it once way earlier when we started this process of doing this podcast, but I let one of those rip. But, you know, I think it's absolutely true that if you want to get into the testimony about, like, the woman in your life, like, brother, I can't, you know, this is my second wife. I had a first wife. My first wife got a lot of bad out of me. Not going to lie. A lot of the reason that we didn't make it probably is just that we were so stinking young. Like, started dating when I was 15 years old, you know what I mean? Made it till I was 30.
15 years, that's a long time.
It's a pretty long time. You know, we had 3 kids together and all that, but I didn't grow up. I grew up with her, but I didn't mature into a man until after the fact, probably.
Yeah.
After that was over, you know. Yeah. And I was on an island and I was isolated and I had to really start relying on God and talking to him about, well, what do I got to do? You know, now I'm 30 now, you know what I mean? I've invested all this time with this person. I thought this was forever and we have kids together and my whole life is changing and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like that was a moment. That was one of those moments where I didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
Bro, like I had me and my dad lived together. How shameful is that? I was 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, and look, I can talk to my dad about anything, but it's hard to be 100% honest with your dad, you know?
Yeah.
In some of those moments. And I didn't have Jason in my life. I didn't have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't have one of those. I had other dudes that were friends, and you know what they were like? I can't believe this is affecting you like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Typical dude behavior.
You should just move on.
Yeah, typical dude
You should
behavior.
just get laid. And I'm like, bro, clearly you don't know me that well.
Yeah.
Because that's not my MO at all.
Yeah. It's typical dude behavior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's that's exactly what it was.
That's not just that typical dude behavior. That's that I can't say it. I can't say it.
Is it that bad or?
Yeah, it's
Just say it. If it's that bad, I'll take it out.
like
that F boy?
Yeah, like
It's that F boy
that's that
behavior.
F boy mentality.
Yeah, that F boy behavior.
Yeah. That's what that is. And that's part of the reason that has that name.
Yeah.
That's the
I've never been that guy, bro.
I've been accused of being that guy, but I have never been that guy. I have been accused of being that guy.
I'm sure I've been accused of it, but
I've had people like try to say, and I'm like, dude, you clearly, like, you're looking at the outer edge of things that are happening right now. You haven't seen how the events have developed into this. Like, the reason this is what it is right now is not because of what I'm saying or doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, go back about a year and a half and listen to the crap that I was dealing with. And now you can understand why I'm acting this way. This isn't just like, oh, I popped off about something like this and this is how I'm acting. No, this is from carrying this BS for a year and a half, 2 years, you know, of just constantly getting beat down. Of course I'm going to have that response at this point.
Bro, I was in a dark place then. And I've always said that, like, I would never be the guy to take my own life. But bro, there was a moment there in that stretch where I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah.
You know.
It's hard when everybody everybody has thought of what it would be like if they did.
What it would be like if I'd never been born.
Yeah.
Kind of like George Bailey.
Yeah, like, well, what if I just ended it? Not like in a way of which they're gonna actually carry it out.
But what would happen?
What would happen? I'm sure everybody's had that thought because it's a very intrusive thought, especially when it's happening so often.
Yeah.
But then when you really, like, I hate to say it this way, but it's the most PG way I can say it without it being too graphic. And when you truly put pen to paper and you see the consequences that it has, it's not that glamorous of an option anymore. You know what I mean? The thought may cross your mind.
Yeah.
But if you really put pen to paper about it, it's like, oh, man. You think of the kids, your significant other, your family, your friends. You think of all the things, the impact that's going to have. My biggest thing was like, man, dude, for kids whose parents do commit suicide, how horrible of a feeling is it for that kid probably sitting there thinking, I wasn't enough?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it had nothing to do with
that. And it had nothing to do with that. Most of the time, it's just life has just beat them down so much they're numb to everything anyways. But can you imagine being that kid and your parent committed suicide?
It
and
just
that
perpetuates itself.
Yeah,
you know?
And then
like
now they're carrying that burden of why wasn't I good enough for them to stay?
It's a vicious cycle because now that kid's
going to have that same kind of mentality.
Yeah.
And then if it carries on, I mean, you could possibly look into generational things that happen at that point.
Right.
And it doesn't just coincide with suicide though. Violent behavior. Kids pick that up.
Yep.
Disrespectful behavior. Kids pick that up. Like men that are disrespectful to their wives in front of their children. For instance, a little boy watching his dad just be totally disrespectful and just be a prick. That little boy's going to grow up thinking that that's okay. And then he's going to do it.
Yep.
And then it carries on to the next one. Or little girls that see their moms doing very illicit, inappropriate things.
They do the same
they're
thing.
They're going to tend to do the same things. You know, I mean,
yeah.
Little boys that see their fathers just womanize and do all this terrible stuff to women, they're going to think that's normal. That's going to be something that they that's going to be a habit that they pick up, and that goes for everything. That's why it's so important, especially at a kid's younger age. If you want to start something generational, start them in the church. Start them in prayer. Start them in the Word.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you want to see them succeed, you don't want to see them fight them demons that you've been fighting your entire life, especially for me. So last weekend, everybody sent out their Bible verse, their book.
Yes, sir.
Champ jumped in the bed. I was like, come on, we got 5 minutes. He's reading it. He's looking at me like,
can we do something else?
yeah. But I mean,
That's all right.
It's 5 minutes. But that kid has never told me no. He's never told me no. He's never told me, like, when it comes time for prayer, when it comes time to read the Bible, he's never said no. He's always like, okay. I want to break the generational curse of this and the depression and the mental anguish that sometimes I'm struggling with half the time.
It's interesting because I was thinking about generational curse too. Like, and it's not necessarily a curse. It's just it's a cycle,
generational trend.
It's a cycle that perpetuates itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You continue to see yourself or see family members or people that you respect or that you're supposed to respect over and over and over again doing those things, and you just take that on thinking that that's okay.
Yeah.
And now we're in the unenviable position of recognizing that those are problems and trying to change them.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we've talked about that once before. Like, bro, I'm trying to not be all of the things that I had coming up.
I'm trying not to be a piece of shit.
100%.
I'm actively trying not to be a piece of shit.
Actively.
And I hate to say it like that and say it so vulgar, but that's what I'm doing. I don't get up every day and think, man, I need to go out and do this and do this and do this. No, that's not what I'm doing. I wake up every single day and think, like, is that good for my character? Is that good for my soul?
Yeah.
Is that good for my relationships?
Yeah.
Is that good for my friendships? Is that good for my finances? Is that good for my life?
Yeah.
If it's not, then I'm not dabbling in that because I'm actively trying not to be a piece of shit, And
it's an actively difficult process.
It is because, there's a lot of things that happen to people during their day where they have every excuse in the world to just flip the switch and be like, all right, you wanted it, here it is, and just totally lose their mind. There's multiple times in the day.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I'm afraid of that day,
But you can't fall into that trap. You got to stay focused enough that you're like, okay, look, man, that's not good for my soul. That's not good for my psyche.
Yeah.
It's not good for my relationships. That's not good for my life. It's not good for my finances, whatever. Because there's every reason in the world out there, especially carrying them.
Oh, yeah. You stupid phones.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's lustful things that pop up in areas that you wouldn't even expect. On the road, there's events that pop up that can make you angry in your workplace, in your relationships. I mean, you can misunderstand a point that a loved one is trying to make and think they're attacking you, and you can lose your mind. Or you can just be like, man, I'm actively trying not to be a piece of shit today. I'm not going to fall into that.
I think that is now the title of this episode is actively not trying to be a piece of bleep. I'm going to put bleep.
Actively trying not to be a piece of bleep.
I mean, we've already said it, so we're going to just keep on. But, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. Like, but sometimes we examine things and we look around and we're like, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right compared to others. Stop comparing.
Well, oh man, that's so...
Because
yeah,
I just opened a whole new can.
Yeah. Well, when you say stop, oh man, okay,
let's do this.
When you say stop comparing, you're asking the impossible.
Yeah,
because everywhere you turn in life, everybody's bragging. Everybody's one-upping one another.
Or the opposite even sometimes. There's
like,
people that really downplay themselves a lot too. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you pay attention.
Yeah, nobody presents themselves as just, I'm good. Everybody's playing the hierarchy like the top dog, or they're playing the poor pitiful me card. Nobody's playing the confident. I'm not saying nobody. But majority of people are playing the, oh, look at me up here with all my things and how my life is and all the like posting vacations and all this stuff. And they're up here and they want everybody to think they're on top of the world. And then you got people that actually have decent lives that are just running around like, oh, I can't do that. I'm a single mom. And that was just an example, everybody. That wasn't like
single dad.
I'm a single dad, or I lost a loved one, or well, like
every little thing that's hard.
Every little thing that's hard is they're using that to make their lives sound so terrible. Yeah. Life's not that bad. And a lot of the times the people that are up here chirping about how great their life is, their life's not that great.
Every time.
You know what I mean?
Every time.
To not compare,
that's
asking the impossible task because it's everywhere.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong even a little bit. But man, like, let's talk about being self-reflective, right? Like, we're not sharing with the world. We're just talking about I don't know how those people that are over here chirping about how great their lives are whenever they're looking in the mirror, but surely they're honest with at least themselves sometimes. Maybe not in front of everybody, but to themselves. And those are the dark moments, right? When you're by yourself and you're in the mirror, when when your face is swollen with tears and, you're angry and, all that. But,
when you're saying all the things to yourself 6 inches from the mirror.
Yeah, you've
that
talked
everybody
about that.
says about you behind your back.
Right.
That's when it's real.
Yeah. And, you get in front of that mirror and you're, I look at I just kind of examine where I am on this walk. And I've talked about how I didn't mean to put it out there like that. Like, I don't need people to know my personal business, but, about how Terry and I have decided that we're going to make that step. Like, this is a step that we believe is part of our process. We believe that everybody has another step that they have to take. This is our next one. And it's a big leap for us. This is an actual leap of faith because we're doing it with the right heart and the right mind frame.
Yeah.
I sit here and I go, I think in myself and I'm thinking to myself and I'm thinking about the people around me and the people I see and the lives that I see out there in the world. And I'm like, I'm doing pretty good. I'm in a
better than most.
Worse than others, though. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but better than most. When you look at the country we live in, the situation.
Yeah.
If you take where we're at and you put us in any other country, we would be living terribly.
Yeah.
Terribly. So we're living a lot better than most.
Right. Well, you think about the process, though, and where you're at in the process and where you're at in the steps. And you're kind of like, you'll look at some people and go, man, I'm so far away from where they are.
But you don't know.
And then you'll look at other people and you go, man, I'm so far ahead of where they are. You know what I mean? And instead of recognizing that.
Yeah, and the person that you just said you were so far ahead of, you may be way behind.
Exactly. And you probably are.
And you don't know it.
Yeah. And you're probably way ahead of this person who's in front of you, who you think's in front of you.
Yeah.
It's be persistent, be diligent, be intentional. I don't care if you choose or anybody chooses to do the tithe. I don't care about that. I'm talking about something that's a personal thing for us. We decided that we felt like that was an obedience to God that we needed to do. We need to do it. And look, I don't care if you give 10% to the church. I don't care how you do it. You can give to other charitable organizations. You can give to strangers on the street, whatever. That's still doing God's work, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's still part of the conversation. I think that counts. I believe that counts. Your time is also valuable. That counts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I don't know. The whole comparison thing, like we could open a whole lot of different conversations there.
That one, that one is going to have to be like for another episode because that's something that could drag on for.
Really? Yeah. We just need to stop thinking about other people, really. And sometimes you need to keep your nose in your own book.
Yeah. Right. A lot of the time when what'll get you in trouble is when you take your eyes off of your prize and you look at someone else's, the envious nature starts to come out. that's what's going to get you in trouble, because then that's when you can't help but compare. Like, man, I've been doing all this good stuff for my whole life, and look at what they're getting.
That's exactly right.
But I think what a lot of people don't understand is sometimes what they're getting may be a curse.
That too.
Like, that may be, because you don't know. I mean, and this is a true fact right here. You look at some people, they just always seem to, you look at them and you're like, man, they're always just like falling into money, or
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? Or they're just like great things are always happening to them. And you're just like, this dude has never been to church in his entire freaking life. How is this always happening? Like, all this good stuff happening for him. That's the superficial good stuff.
Yeah.
That's not the good stuff.
Right.
That's the good stuff of this world. That's not the good stuff. The good stuff is not of this world.
Yeah. We're meant to use money, not obtain money and keep it. You know what I mean? We're meant to use it to survive and help.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
You know how cool it would be if we went back to the bartering system?
You and me would do all right.
Yeah.
I think we'd do all right.
Yeah.
You would be way better off than me, but yes. If we worked together, we could do a lot.
Yes, we would work. We would all work together. Our whole family would be one big giant clique of.
We would do great things. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, go build a fence for somebody, you get fed for a week.
That's maybe
you know
a
what I'm
month.
saying? Yeah, I mean, just like, yeah, come on. That's cool. Let's go.
Yeah. I'll cook for you. You'll want me to keep coming back. I promise you. Man, it's just,
This was a very interesting. We say this every week.
Yeah. This
was a very interesting week, though, because a lot of good things came up. I mean,
it's interesting that where the conversation started and where it's at now. But if you really think about it,
they're all tied together.
It's all tied to that prosperity.
It's all handcuffed to prosperity. Yeah.
And God wants us to prosper.
Yeah.
He really wants us to prosper, but I think that some of prosperity is on us and how much we're willing to surrender.
You have to trust. You have to trust. And look, I hate to say this, especially right now, because, like, the Roman Empire was not great to what we're trying to compare to, but Rome wasn't built in a day.
No.
You can't expect to. If, like, you do one good deed, it happens immediately. That's not how this works. God is going to test your character.
It reminds me of what Matt
you're going to
was
have to
telling
go
us.
the difference. You're going to have to go the distance. Yes, you're not just going to be able to, hey, here's my 10%,
and that's it.
And that's it.
You're going to have to keep doing God's will willingly.
Yeah,
I remember. It reminds me of what Matt shared with us about small beginnings in Zechariah 4:10. Remember that? That was the most recent episode that came out. And it really just reminded us about what we're doing here, and we tied it to that, which, makes sense. So what Matt was explaining to us when we were talking about this thing, and he said, do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin, to see the plumb line in Zerubbabel's hand. You know what I mean? Like, just the fact that we started it is a part of that's a big deal. You know what I mean? But, and we should be expectant of God, because God has promises and he's made promises and he holds up to his promises. So we should be expectant. And that's why we have to have those open hands, right? But at the same time, if you're doing it for that sole purpose, that's a problem. Your heart's in the wrong place. That's a selfish place, and that's a greedy place, right? I think that God loves a cheerful giver.
Yeah, I think he does too.
It says it in the scriptures. You know what I mean? So, anyway, this has been a great conversation. It really has. And we've had a lot of great... Can you believe this is 40?
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
I
mean, yes, and to me, yes and no.
Well, no. So hear me out first.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes, I can believe that this has been 40 or is 40, because we originally started this back last November.
True.
So when you look at it, we're 10 months deep. Now, we haven't recorded and released those whole 10 months.
Right.
But we're 10 months deep. 10 months, if you really slow down and think about it, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's true.
So 40, yeah, I can believe this is 40. I can. I hate that I just laugh like that in the mic, too.
He said,
Golly. All right, I'm going to see if I can make you laugh
God
for real this
is
time.
good.
All right. I got a dad joke for you.
Come with it.
I hate perforated lines. They're terrible.
That is terrible. But it is funny.
I told you that one was terrible enough you might actually laugh at it. What you got? What you got for the wisdom side?
I don't know. I go through these and I'm like, dude, they all sound good to me. But I've landed on this one a couple times, so I think I'm going to just stick with it. Anette Funicello. I don't know that for sure. Okay. I'm going to have to look it up.
Okay.
Life does not have to be perfect to be wonderful.
That's absolutely right.
And it kind of ties into where all that conversation ended up.
Yeah.
Dang. You know, I just always want to be thankful. And, you know, even if there's a worship song, I think it's Worthy. You are worthy. Yeah. He says, even if you say yes, no, or wait, you're worthy. You know what I mean? Remembering that God and Jesus is above all things. His name is above all things. And just how big our God is, and that, like, he's worthy of our praise, whether his answer is yes, or it's no, or it's wait. He's still worthy of our praise. It's still a good life. Everything's still good. You know, everything in it's not good all the time. There's hard things and things we don't want to do.
Though. It builds your spiritual character too, because when you truly do get broken to pieces and you latch onto Christ to heal,
yeah,
you are unstoppable at that point.
When you let the actual maker put you back together,
yeah, you are unstoppable.
Bro, those aren't called scars anymore. No. Those are called healing points.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you've been healed.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. And for anybody who chooses to listen to us, man, I'm so thankful for you guys to come along the ride with us and, you know, listen to us. And I'm thankful to God that he's always giving us something to say. Because there are plenty of times when I think you and I both come in here going, I don't have any idea how this is going to run.
Do? It's hard to plan because I've tried.
Yeah.
And the day has kind of beat it out of me a couple times where it's like, I don't really want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
Just come in here and let it happen, and it seems to work out every time. So
here we are, doing what we do, and I want to get to the point that at some point when we say doing what we do, this is exactly what we think about. You know what I mean? Like, gosh, we get to share the hope of knowing our Lord and Savior. We get to share kind of our vulnerability and be a good example to people that we're trying to motivate to, like, you know, heal and learn and lean in. Just lean in a little bit, man. God has something great for every single one of us. And hey, if you got something to say to us,
reach out.
You know, we got email, we got social media. Email bswunbound80@gmail.com. Social media, Facebook, Instagram. Is TikTok social media? I think it is.
Technically, probably.
Facebook is John space and Jason space BSW. Instagram is bumper_sticker_wisdom. YouTube bumper_sticker_wisdom. TikTok is bumper sticker wisdom. You know, we've got some stickers. We're working on shirts. If you guys would like to support us, please reach out and let us know. $3 a sticker. Once we have the shirts, we're going to do $20 a shirt. We got into the deal cheap enough to be able to do that, and you know, just support us if you can, and if you have questions or comments, or hey, you don't have to be here to be a guest. If you want to just call in, let's do that. You can call us on the phone. We'll put you on the soundboard, and we'll have a conversation. I'm super thankful for where we're at, what we're doing. Every time I listen to it, and yes, we do listen to our own content.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, right?
Yeah.
I'm always impressed by it. I just feel like it's natural. It's real. It's real people doing real things.
Yeah.
For somebody supernatural.
Yeah.
As we always say, we're just presenting a perfect man in a not so perfect way.
Yep.
So, for Bumper Sticker Wisdom,
I'm Jason.
and I'm John.